Hello, friends. I haven't shared an update in a while, and a lot has happened in the past about 6 months, six and a half months. So it's gonna be a longer video, just kind of life update, hitting the highlights of the past 6 to 7 months. The craziness really all started around mid December. For most of 2024, my blood counts had been really off, and so I finally, on December 18th, went up to UVA hematology and oncology, and based on their evaluation and looking over the year's worth of labs from my GP, I was given a presumptive diagnosis of chronic myeloid leukemia. And we sent off a bunch of labs, including a biomarker, to confirm that diagnosis. 2 days later, on the 20th, I had pretty major oral surgery to pull several baby teeth that were broken, and restructure part of my jaw to help my mouth close more evenly. That resulted in multiple complications and infections, the worst of which occurred on Christmas night, when I became very sick, and ended up tearing out all of my stitches. Casey, however, had a lovely Christmas, even though she did struggle with the concept of taking things out of her stocking, and not just licking the stocking. There you go. On January 2nd, all of my labs came back, and we found out that I did not have leukemia. Instead, I had multiple severe nutritional deficiencies, but most likely due to absorption issues, as a result of being in intestinal failure from my neuromuscular disorder. This seemed like good news, but the oncologist did say that it would likely actually be harder to manage. I thought that this was going to be the hard part of my year, so I did my best to just keep pushing through and sticking to my regular routine as much as possible, despite the fall of the first snow of the year a few days later, and of course got lots of love from Casey. Then January 16th through the 20th, I made a quick trip up to my childhood home, just outside of Harrisonburg, Virginia, and spent the night in my childhood bedroom, where there was a deer head that Casey was not fond of, and that our family all made our way up to Maryland, where my mom grew up, for my grandmother's memorial service. Within 2 days of being home from traveling, I was super sick with pneumonia, a collapsed lung, and a bladder infection, as well as another infection in my jaw. And I had gotten so weak that I could not stand with my crutches. That is basically the state in which I spent the entire month of February. We didn't do much during that month, but we did say goodbye to Casey's best friend, my friends guide dog. I also created a WhatsApp group during that time to share medical updates, and that group is still active if anybody wants to join. But March is when things got really crazy. On March 11th, Casey started booping me and doing the alert that she usually does to signal that my oxygen levels are low. But I checked and they weren't, and I was confused because she's never given me a false alert before. But then within about 30 minutes, I started to develop one of the worst headaches I've ever had, and very shortly after started having severe weakness and impaired sensation on the right side of my body, as well as facial drooping and paralysis on the right side of my face. I also at that time became unable to speak without this stutter in my voice that you hear now. At the time, I was too disoriented to recognize this as a cluster of symptoms. I was just telling people that I had a really bad headache, and till I went to see my GP, and she immediately recognized all of these as stroke symptoms, and immediately sent me to the hospital. Our local hospital admitted me briefly, but was unable to do the proper imaging here because of my ventilator. So they sent me home and told me that it was either a hemiplegic migraine or a small stroke, and if it was a migraine, my symptoms would resolve within the week, and they didn't. So we moved forward with the assumption that this was indeed a stroke, and I was told to go up to UVA if I had any more episodes, which I did. Since March 11th, I have in total had 7 of these episodes. At UVA, they were able to do an MRI and determined that there was no brain damage, which means that I did not have a full stroke, and I was told then that it could not be a TIA or mini stroke because those don't leave lasting symptoms that need rehabilitation. So one of the neurologists that saw me at UVA said that he had never seen anything like this, and I should probably be admitted for more testing. But then the doctor that came on to relieve him briefly examined me and just decided that I was fit to go home. I have since learned that there is plenty of literature indicating that it is not at all uncommon for TIAs or mini strokes to cause lingering symptoms after the actual incident has stopped. And so at this point, we are calling them stroke mimic episodes, but we don't actually know if they are mimics or if they are just TIAs, transient ischemic attacks. And we probably will not have solid answers on that for several months yet. I have a few tests coming up next week to look at my blood flow in and around my heart and in the vessels around my brain, which will help suggest if there's any problems there that would make a TIA more likely, and that I see my cardiologist in August and my neurologist in October, and hopefully they will have some answers, but that is not guaranteed. Casey worked as a service dog for the first time when we went up to UVA, and she rocked it. But March also wasn't all bad, as I finally got to virtually meet my best friend's new little baby girl. And as I am no longer able to work due to cognitive issues from these episodes, as well as the dysfunction with my hands and voice, I started a new passion project to keep me busy, and I am working on compiling a master spreadsheet and playlist for the Horn Section podcast. My GP suspected that these episodes may be due to something called serotonin syndrome, which is basically where a toxic level of the neurotransmitter serotonin builds up in the brain. It's a rare drug reaction. And so we made some changes to my medications, and my symptoms improved a lot. And I went the longest that I had gone between episodes, almost a whole month. But apparently, while that does seem to have been a contributing factor, it was not the only thing causing these stroke-like episodes. Then April came to a crashing halt when my power chair suddenly broke down, and has been out of commission ever since. But the first week of May, a glorious new season of Taskmasters started, and Casey got to celebrate Cinco de Mayo with a pumpkin and bean burrito. And of course, some horse section. Then she and I had my first visit to the palliative care clinic, which went fantastically. The doctor spent over an hour with me going over all of my history and conditions, and we've managed to get a much better handle on my pain. With palliative care services instead of hospice, I can continue to see all of my specialists, and should we find any, I can choose to pursue treatments to extend the length of my life. However, at this point, when making treatment decisions, the priority will be quality over quantity of life. Unfortunately, while all of this was going on, I became unable to work, and as a result, I am no longer able to afford the house that I have lived in for the past 4 years. So I am unable to renew my lease, and I am in desperate need to find somewhere affordable and accessible to move. A local nonprofit is doing a benefit show for me this Saturday to help. There is also a donation link for those who cannot attend in person. Any help received would be greatly appreciated.